So what's going on, everybody? This is BMT. I'm coming at you definitely on this one. Um, I gotta let y'all know, man. We have some things on both sides of the grid that we need to start having a conversation about. That a lot of people are I don't want to. No, a lot of people don't want to talk about because it makes them feel uncomfortable, puts pressure on them. Uh, and I want to go at this for the men. I want to go at this and talk about this to the men. I know this is not a popular conversation. You're going to probably hear a lot. I'm going to tell you right now, men, predominantly black men, do and they will avoid this conversation like the plague. And that striking bothers me to the core because if you do try to talk about it or you try to call it out, you'll be called blue pill, simp, lame. It's a problem. Okay. Okay. I had to just get that out. Y'all know I get shadow banned. But we have this thing where as to a lot of people like to jump around and pretend like this ain't happening. I have videos I'm gonna play. One is from one content creator. The other one is from a police channel. And we pretend like this thing ain't happening. Or we don't like to ask the question why uh sex sex and abuse, sexual abuse is rampant. You'll hear dudes on in doesn't make it right. Um, you'll hear them say, "Oh, well, single mothers." It doesn't deflect the point. I'm like, when you do that, that means you're just opting out of the conversation. And I'm gonna just be for real. It is a weak conversation or a weak talking point to have. But I'm just gonna go ahead and play the audio with fair use. I'm gonna play the audio with fair use. This is subject to commentary because we definitely got to have this conversation. Why are black men even entertaining this conversation? Why do I have to know? But I've been on quite a few panels where where the men have had the talks about consent, and they're going to be like, "Well, what men do that?" Let's stop playing the game. Let's stop playing the game. When we ask that question, what men do that? What men talk about consent? And I've been on plenty of panels where I've heard men talk about the age of consent. We've seen plenty of content creators who have had uh, those charges or different issues brought up on them. Not pointing the finger. I'm going to just act and say we need to stop having and entertaining. Well, in some countries, because it's like you're trying to look for a reason to justify unacceptable behavior. Y'all really need to step away from that age of consent talking point. Y'all need to step away from that age of consent in other countries where other men have like stop, man. Like Y'all really sound creepy as hell. And see, the thing about it is, black men, y'all want to call out accountability. Y'all want to talk about being that of in the home, but y'all run scared from these conversations. Maybe because somebody came in your home and was doing stuff in your house. Maybe because y'all afraid to step to other black men. Maybe because I'm just gonna say some of y'all are just like this, or actually down with this. And we see it time and time and time again, talking points, uh disgusting behavior going on. What's going on, Jay? Let me see what Jay said. Uh-oh, I need to push back. Um, you can okay, you can try. I you can't, but you can try. I don't know why would you want to push back on consent. There's nothing you can try to push back on that, but I will give you that platform to push back. There's none to push back on that. I'm gonna just be for real. There really isn't. I've traveled the world in different countries, from third world, second world, and first world. You get caught in any of these countries within a minor, you're going to jail. Afghanistan, you're going to jail. Dubai, you're going to jail. Where y'all want to go? South America, you're definitely going to jail. And then God forbid you go to those jails. Panama, going to jail. Caribbeans, you're going to jail. Just because you see or hear about people doing it doesn't make it right. And the thing about it is, using those talking points is unbecoming of that of a man. It's just not. It's just not. Hang on, we got a guest coming up here. We're joined here by J.I., the founder of the petition for financial abortion for men. What's going on, J.I.?
Hey, what's going on, man? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Peace to you, man.
Okay. Go ahead. What's your talking point?
Okay, yes. So from what well, first let me make sure my understanding is clear. Do you have an issue with men who are sleeping with girls that are the age of consent?
What is the age of consent?
It varies from wherever you are, but I'm saying each state has its own age. We know that it varies. I know we had this conversation, a long time ago. But
Can
it
a
varies
minor
depending upon.
can a minor
Huh?
consent? Now, I'm asking you, can a minor consent?
Can a minor consent? No, they would have to be the age of consent. But the age of consent is dependent upon wherever you're at the time. Each state is different. Each country is different.
A minor can't consent at all. Like I know I know you want. I
Agreed.
know
They
people.
have to be the age of consent.
No, 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 no. A minor can never consent. That's like you trying to do. That's like somebody trying to do a porno, right? In whatever state, and they're trying to have sex with an adult. They can never consent. As long as they have as long as they have a guardian that has to write in a consent form for them, they can never consent. See, it's a
Porn is
backwards
different
law.
because porn is different. There are different laws regarding porn. But if the law where you're at says in this state you have to be 18 is the age of consent for sex or whatever for them to be able to have sex, then that's what it is. If they say that it's 19 wherever you're at, then that's what it is. Whatever the law says, two people, the age of consent for two people to have sex is, that's you have to follow the law.
You know
Now
they're
the
talking
law,
about people of that age in their bracket, right? They're not talking about adults with children. You do know that, right? That still be statutory. That still would be
Whatever
statutory.
that's what I'm saying. Whatever that state says the law is
No,
for two people to have sex, if
not
they
two people.
say
How
that this
can a
only,
child
if they
consent?
say that the age of consent is 16, but there's a, the Romeo and Juliet laws that's within 2 to 3 years, then you have to follow. You have to abide by that.
That
Whatever that
doesn't.
law
That
says,
doesn't.
that's what you have to abide by.
That doesn't cover nobody because you can still be hit up for pedophilia. You can still be hit
Pedophilia
up for
is
statutory.
dealing with
You no, you can still
pre-pubescent
you can still be
children.
hit up. You can still be hit. No, let me take out the P word. You can still be hit up for statutory assault, even if the person was saying, "I'm consenting to this as my boyfriend." You will still be hit up with statutory charges. You will still
If
go
that's
to
how
jail.
the laws in that state are worked, then you're
Every
not dealing
state
with
works
somebody
like
who's
that.
old enough.
Every state
If you're
works like that.
if the laws in that state, if you're you need to follow whatever those laws are, and the laws are different. So if the laws wherever you are, if that's the rules, then that's what they got to follow.
Okay, but see, but we're looking at, because I'm trying to make sure you're following what I'm saying. If it is a minor that is 18, that is 17, 16, 15, it don't matter if it says it on online saying, "Hey, guess what? The age of consent." You can play that game if you want. The state is still going to slap you. The state is still going to get you. They're going to get you, the adult. They're not going to get the child. They're going to get you, the adult, because you knowingly are having inappropriate behavior with a minor. There is no way you're going to try to get out of that. There's no way. You got to tell me a court case that literally somebody actually said, "This child gave me consent. This teenager gave me consent to have sexual relationships with them." You got to show me that case. I would love to see that case.
Okay, no, whatever the laws are in that state is what has to be followed.
Well,
if they didn't break the law, then they've done nothing illegal. If they broke the law, then they did something illegal. It's that simple.
Then that would be breaking the law. That would be breaking the law. That would be breaking. Hang on, let me see
if what they did is against the law and they broke the law, then they broke the law.
So okay, so then the talking point that men are trying to use online about if the age of consent, that doesn't cover you as a man. It doesn't cover you. It will never cover you. That's why I'm saying, like, black men, y'all got to leave that conversation alone, because it doesn't cover you. It won't cover you in any country. I would have to say, show me a country that you can legally have that relationship with an underage person, and tell me that, and I promise you, if we look it up, it don't cover you. It don't cover you. That's why I say it doesn't work at all. Like, this. Hang on, we got Brother Rob, and we see what he guys says. To agree that a 16-year-old woman is okay to have sexual relationship with, using the law is sick within itself. I got a question, and I would ask the thing about this, Jay. Let's say that man has sex with a 16-year-old, but in a state where it says the age of consent is 16.
Is it legal to do it or is it illegal to do it? Where he's at. If it's legal, if it's legal for him to do it, then there's no problem.
Okay, why do you believe that?
Okay, so this is the difference where we break down. Can you still hear me good, BMT?
Go ahead, I get you.
Okay, so this is where it breaks down. There is a breakdown between legality and morality. Okay, let's say that one more time for the audience. There is a distinction between legality and morality. All right, each state is different. Each country is different. We know that laws are arbitrary because they're different. It's not universal. You can even go into different counties and be subject to different rules. That's the law that governs that area. So what I'm saying is men need to operate within the law. Okay? You operate within the law. Now there's a second set of principles upon which people operate, which is their own moral compass. All right. So what you're saying is if that man is in a state where it is legal for him to sleep with that girl, then he's done nothing wrong. He's broke no law. Okay. There are plenty of things that people may find morally wrong. Like, for example, I think having a child by a man that doesn't want to have a child with you is morally wrong because you're going to hurt the child and you're building a broken family off the bat because there's no family to begin with. I think that's morally wrong. A lot of people don't care about that. I think that forcing men to pay child support for children that they don't want is morally wrong. But people don't care about that because it's legal. Okay, they're operating from a law-based morality compass from that. Okay, it's allowed for them to do in the law. So all this just comes down to your opinion of what right and wrong is. Okay, and that is just subjective from person to person. But if a man has broken no laws, so I said a man has to, whatever the laws are where he's at, you have to follow those laws. You have to abide by those laws. Now, if somebody personally thinks that that's wrong, then that's their opinion. But there are plenty of things that are legal and allowed to happen that I believe are wrong and that other people don't care about because it suits them or they just don't care about it. So it is what it is. So if a man is somewhere and the law allows for, you to sleep with a 16-year-old girl or whatever, and they do that, they have broken no law. So I see nothing wrong with it.
Now, one of the things so I would ask you this. It's a child. Does a child have the mental fortitude to know what they're getting into?
16-year-old to me is not a child, number one.
15.
That's not a child to me.
That's not a child?
Huh?
That's not a child?
You said 16?
16, 15,
16 is not a child to me.
What if
I don't know anywhere where it would be legal to sleep with a 14-year-old, but I'm saying we're saying 16 is not a child.
They have places that say that. Hang on. 16
is not a child. You can drive a car, you can operate whatever. You're in high school. You're on your way to being an adult. All these numbers are pretty much arbitrary. For me personally, 16, no, that's not a child. I'm not considering that a child. And when we use words like that, it's to try to evoke, certain emotions or whatever. Listen, as well as I do, BMT, that at 17 you can go die for your country. Can you not?
Yeah, but you got to get that signed by an adult to go join.
It doesn't matter who has to sign it. You can go do it.
Wait. You just did that, and I just literally said you have to get that signed by an adult to join the military or guardian.
That doesn't matter that you have to get something signed. You can go do it legally.
But who has to give you permission? An adult.
BMT. So by your logic, there are women, and I know you know this. There are women who allow their 16-year-old daughters to be in relationships with grown men, and they know it, and they are okay with it. So they're giving their permission. So by your logic, you're okay with that? Because the parents know and approve of it. Every day this happens, and I know you know this happens. So by your logic, you'd be okay with that too. And she's not going to go off and go die. When you can go off to the military and go die for your country at 17.
That's two different conversations.
It's not two different conversations.
We're talking about consent. We're talking about consensual. We're talking about consensual. Like I said,
yeah, and it's consensual.
Hang on.
It's consensual.
Okay, let me grab this. Okay, there we go, dude. Okay, so here we go. Okay, Fort Worth Sexual Defense Attorney. And this, like I said, we got the chart right here. Okay, no, there is a uniform. No, there is not a uniform age of consent. The age of consent is the minimum age at which a person may consent to participate in sexual intercourse. A person younger than the legal age of consent cannot legally consent to sexual activity. The age of consent in the United States ranges from 16 to 18, depending on the state, meaning that a person 15 years of age or younger cannot legally consent to sexual contact. Each state enacts its own laws, which sets age of consent. If someone engages in sexual activity with a person younger than the age of consent in the state, the person could be charged with statutory rape or other offenses depending on the nature of the contact. What follows is the map depicting the age of consent in all 50 states, outlining the same. And it's crazy if you have the name, the phone number, and the message. I take it a lot of people get caught up in this, but follows the map depending. Note this chart was current as of 2016, but could subject to change over the years. Please do not rely on this chart to make decisions that can impact your life. Okay, so you get also to check your and it's crazy that they got this map. I because your ignorance of the law will not be your defense if charged for child sexual offense. So you have it right here. 16, Alabama, Alaska, 16, Arizona.
Yeah, I'm seeing
18.
16 in a lot of states.
Okay, so we got it right here. All this stuff. Okay, let's go through this. These are all kids to me. I'm just being honest. These are all kids.
They're not kids.
Those are kids.
Let me ask you, BMT. Let me ask you,
You're going to tell me a 16-year-old is not a kid? Yeah, how are you going to say a 16-year-old?
No, 16-year-old is not a kid. 16-year-old is not a kid, in my opinion.
What is that?
It's not a kid because a 16-year-old. Yeah, they're well on their way to adulthood. 16-year-old can drive a car without any supervision. A 16, that's not a kid. That's not a kid to me. But let me.
Do they not go to?
I mean, we just disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, we just completely disagree on that. But let me ask you. So if a person is law abiding, we pulled up the map. Shout out to you, always pulling up the facts. So we got the map. In a lot of places it's 16. So if a man is abiding by the law, what issue do you have with that?
Dude, that's still a kid.
Why do you think it's wrong?
Because that's a kid, dude. Like, you're messing with that of the development of a child. Like, if I, a full adult man, were to strike a 16-year-old, I would get charged for hitting a minor. Why? Now, explain that. Why would I, an adult man, get charged for hitting a minor? Now, hold up now. You said consent, but I just struck.
I'm going to answer.
Okay, so go ahead.
I'm going to answer. You just brought up the chart, BMT. It's the law. That's the way the laws work. Listen, it is what it is. That's the way our current legal system works. So if you do one thing in one area, it can be looked at differently than something in another area. It's just like you can be 16, you can drive a car, but you still can't buy cigarettes. You got to be 18 to buy cigarettes. You got to be 21 to drink. It's 20. That's what I said. You got to be 21 to drink. So there are different laws regarding different things, but you still have to operate within the law. So that's a non sequitur. So if a man is, shout out to you for pulling up the chart, if you're operating within the legal, within the law of the state that you're in or whatever, you're abiding by the law, then you have not broken any laws. I don't see a problem with it.
Okay. And that is fair on what your belief is. That is your belief. We're joined here by I Am. What's up, I Am? Welcome to the show. We're on the topic of Black men stop using that age of consent in other countries narrative. Go ahead.
So my question is, if 16 isn't a kid, then what age to this gentleman that's on the panel that the kid stops? Because he's bringing up that kids can drive a car. They can ride a bike. They can ride a scooter.
J.I.
They can ride a motorcycle. They can ride a four-wheeler. So driving a car, does that mean that you're an adult and that you can be fucked by a grown man because you can drive a car?
Let's try to keep it down. I get what you're saying. Just
Oh,
try to keep
okay.
it down. Gotcha.
My bad. So I'm trying to find out. I mean, I have nothing against you, whatever your opinion is. I just want to know, as a man with a
I'm
child.
gonna answer it.
And
I'm
so,
answering.
okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Sorry, and I'm Ji, by the way. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
So you said, at what age does it stop being a kid? To me, you stop being a kid when you become a teenager. Now, I would say 13 because now you're a teenager. You're no longer a kid. Now, kid is subjective. There's no whatever, because it's just a word that people say. Hey, come here, kid. Blah blah blah. It's just really just something that people use when somebody is significantly younger than them. Like, I've had elder people that are like, 50 plus, and it still refer to to me as a kid. Like, you're still wet behind it, just because I have not experienced a level of life that they've had. So it's really just subjective. But for me, I say you stop being a kid at 12. That's when I would stop referring to you as a kid.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
I'm gonna answer the other part of your question though too.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you said, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said, is it okay for them to sleep with a man now because they're 16? Is that the question?
I said a grown man.
With a grown man, yeah. So okay, so let me answer that. With a grown man, yes. If the state that they're in legally allows it, BMT just pulled up the chart. Every state is different. We all know that. It ranges from 16 to 18. So whatever state they're in, if they meet that legal age of that state, then yes, it is fair game.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you have any children?
Yes. No.
You have children? Huh?
No.
Okay, so that's why you have that stance. Because all I'm saying is, if you had children, I'm not gonna say kids, if you had children and you had a daughter or even a son that were 13 years old, and I hope somebody don't clip this because I'm making a point, and I am a man that's 35 years old, and I meet your 13-year-old daughter coming out of sixth grade or fifth grade, what is it, sixth grade, junior high school, and I pull over and I ask her, can we date? And I'm bringing her home and doing all this.
Sir, none of those states are 13. None of the states start at 16.
Okay, so let's put it at 16 then. So I pull up to the high school, a 35-year-old man, and I ask your 16-year-old daughter, who's probably in what, ninth grade, maybe 10th grade, to let's go out and date.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
So you will be okay with a 35-year-old man coming to your house and picking up your 16-year-old daughter and taking her on a date and having sex with her while she lives in your house, while you're buying her clothes, feeding her, paying her cell phone bill, paying her laptop bill, buying her school clothes. You as a father would be okay with that because the law says I can do it.
No, me personally, no, absolutely not. It's not going down for me.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
absolutely not.
Listen, bro, this is what I'm saying. Like, we gotta stop having these let me finish. I'll let you talk. But what I'm saying is we gotta stop letting these non-parents agree with kids who are underage, who ain't even fully developed yet, to say that it's okay to sleep with a grown man, a man even over 19 years old, or even having sex, period, at that age. Like, come on, man. Like, this is ridiculous, but you didn't even have that stance. But you don't have no kids.
Now let me rebuttal. This is why it doesn't matter that I don't have kids. So there's a lot of things that happen that I would not allow my kids to be part of. Something being legal and okay to do legally does not mean that I want my children to partake in it. It's perfectly legal to go out here and become a single mother and have all kind of different baby daddies. I still would not allow my children to do that, but it doesn't make it illegal for it to happen. So what you're saying doesn't matter, because even if I did have kids, I would still have, because you have to understand, when people say these things, I don't want this stuff happening to my daughter. I will make sure that it did not happen to my daughter. Best thing you can do is, if you don't want it happening to your daughter, you ought to make sure that it's not happening by being a good parent. That's just what it is. But it's still legal for it to happen because the laws of that state, as BMT read, each state determines what it is. So the laws of each state have determined that this is what it is. Now, your own personal moral compass, which is what me and BMT discussed earlier, that is going to be different from person to person. So yes, even though it's legal, you may still not allow for it to happen. Just like abortion may be legal, but some people's morality will not allow them to use abortion, even though it is legal. So these are two different things. These are completely two different things. Go ahead.
So we do know also that these laws were written a long time ago and really hasn't changed, or morally people really just haven't looked at it because the rest of the shit that's going on in the world to change these laws. Because really all these laws need to be changed. They really need to be 18 and over, or 19 and over, for you to be sleeping with grown men. I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't care if the law stands on it or not. Just the fact that you're saying, oh, because the law says that, oh, okay, well, she's 16, she's grown, or she's not a kid no more, she's a teenager. I mean, come on, man. And then you just because your daughter is sleeping with somebody that got pregnant, mean that you're not a good parent. You cannot know. These kids are sneaky, especially if you're out in the world working and you're a single parent or a single dad or whatever it is. And you can't be at home with them 24/7 because you got to go take care of business. At the end of the day, we don't know. But does that mean that it's okay for a man that's 25, 30, 40, 60 years old preying on a 16-year-old child, or in your case, a teenager?
Yeah, see, this is the part. This is the disconnect, the part that we're missing. If your kid is at home having sex while you're whatever, to me, if you're the parent and they get pregnant, you said it's not your fault. To me, it's the parent's fault. I don't care. It's your fault. That's your child, and now you're gonna have to deal with it and rectify that situation, whether you do an abortion or whatever, or whether you disown them, or it's the part. It's your fault. It falls to you as the parent. I don't believe in this excuses thing. Whatever happened to your kid is on you because that's your kid. Now, it's a difference and a distinction between what people think is right and wrong and what people think is legal and illegal. So you said that these laws need to be updated. Maybe that's your opinion. Some people, but when you go to play that game, some people are going to try to want to raise it, and then some people are going to want to lower it. Because if you keep in mind historically, and I know it's because I've done debates on this or whatever, shout out to the league, but historically there were the age of consent laws were even lower. So they've been raised, okay, from what they were. So when you go to play that game, there are going to be people who are going to try to change it. When you go to try to change these numbers, there are going to be some people who try to lower it. So you just need to be ready for that. If you want to go try to raise it, then by all means. But this is what it's legally at. We all feel like there are laws that are unfair and unjust. That's how the world goes. All we can do is, like myself, I tried to make a petition. All you can do is operate within the law first, and then you can work to try to get it changed. But it's 100% your fault whatever your child does. It's on you because you got to raise them.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that point about whatever happened to your child is your fault. I mean, you had to take ownership on it because they're yours. But I'm glad that I don't have no daughters, because I'll be in jail for motherfucker trying to talk to my teenager, 18-year-old child, and you a grown ass man want to sleep with a kid or a child. Yeah, I'm glad I don't have no daughters, because I'll be in jail buried, because I'll kill you and your whole fucking family. So it is what it is, though.
Yo, y'all can hear me, B?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, peace, man. I'm Bro Rob, man. I was in the chat. I don't know if you looking at the chat, but I have
I can't see it.
All right, all good. I have a fundamental disagreement with you, brother. I would say that you don't have kids, right?
Correct.
Okay. And all of your opinions are based on the law and then the idea of being a parent. But me, I am a parent, and then I work in the school system with young ladies 16 to 21. So, I have experience dealing with this population and with the mentality of these young ladies. And what I'm telling you is that you have a cold-hearted somewhat narrow opinion of how a community is supposed to be ran in terms of, what relationships are acceptable or not. If your opinion is clearly only based on the law and what's legally correct, and everybody else's opinion is their opinion and it's not respected above the law, I think your opinion is somewhat dangerous. And you can hear how this brother just espoused to you. Obviously he has sons. Me too, I have 2 boys. But yeah, I have a fundamental disagreement with you, bro. And all you have is legality to back up your opinion. You don't have any experience being a parent, and I certainly hope you don't work with young ladies that's 16 to whatever age. But yeah, that's
Can I
what
interject?
Go ahead.
All right, so I do have experience working with that age range as well. I used to be a teacher. Had to quit because the
You
school
used to
system is so
be
terrible.
you used to be a teacher, you used to be an educator,
Yes.
and you are
Now,
on
hold
this
on. Let me
platform.
get it off.
I want to make sure that I understand.
Okay, go ahead.
You used to be an educator. You are no longer an educator.
Correct.
The demographics that you work with, were these young ladies, were they primarily, Black, Latino, white? What demographic did you work with?
It was a mix. I taught high school. I actually taught in other countries. I taught high school, so they were of other countries. They were primarily Asian, and then in the States, I primarily taught elementary school, and it was the Black Title I schools.
Woof. Yeah,
But
and so I would just say, when you have brung up what's morally correct and how the law trumps that, is that your opinion, sir?
my opinion is this. Now, there's a separation and a difference between legality and morality, which is what me and BMT discussed
Yes,
earlier.
I heard
And I discussed that
that
link.
discussion, but I mean, I hate to cut you off right there, but I really want to understand your point of view. Are you saying that the law trumps what is morally right?
No, the law is not going to trump what's morally right, but morality is subjective. There's no one set morality. So, to me, the law does not speak at all to right or wrong or morality. It's only what's legal and what's not legal. So, a
Are
man
you
who,
familiar? Are you familiar with a term called the spirit of the law?
in the spirit of, yeah,
In the spirit of, yeah. So the spirit of any law is to bring about what is just. And if you're talking about what
incorrect,
is just, not man,
incorrect.
justice is not part. Justice is not part of the legal system. Is that what you're saying? How
Justice,
would
quote
that be?
unquote,
How would
is
that be
an
incorrect?
ideal. Justice is an ideal in the
The
legal system, and
overall
it
goal,
within itself
the overall goal
is
of the legal
subjective.
system is to produce justice. Is that not right?
Incorrect.
Man, well, again, that's where I would say that you have a fundamental flaw in your logic, and your opinions are detrimental. They're destructive to having a.
I respect that you feel that way. Let me
That's
respond
not a.
to
That's
what
not
you
a
were saying
feeling.
though.
That's
Okay,
not a feeling.
hang on. So we got other people on the panel.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Like I said, like this needs to be a conversation that we have on the men's side and on the women's side. We're joined here by Mahogany and also by D. Darrell. Like, so go ahead, Mahogany. I know you've heard some of the stuff that was being said. What's
Yeah,
your thought?
first of all, thank you for
Let the
letting me in.
record show I was not able to respond to what he said though. But go ahead.
Okay, I will
Because
make
there's
sure
a
you can
panel,
respond.
because
Yeah,
there's
I
a
will make sure.
panel. And we, you know what I'm saying? We'll be back and forth up here all day. I want to say good morning to everybody. This is my thing.
Good morning.
Good morning, sweetheart. I'm gonna be short and sweet. I wish I could stay up here longer. I will be listening. This is the thing. I'm so glad that brother said that, because that is exactly what I was thinking. Just because the law, listen, we live in a very wicked society. Make no mistake about it. There are certain states that are trying to make it okay to marry an animal, to have sex with animals. Just because the law says something, there's certain laws right now on the books where a man could whoop his wife right down here in the South, bring her to the courthouse and whip her on the courthouse steps. Okay, so we got to make sure that we're not living our lives by the law, and make sure that we're living our lives by our own moral standard. I was stunned when you said that you work with children and that you were a teacher. Okay, so
Why is that stunning?
Okay, let me
Do you
finish
think that
my
I'm
statement.
speaking
I'm
with
not here
children
I'm
about
actually not
conversations
here to
like this? Is
converse
that what
with
you
you.
think
I'm
is
just here to
happening?
give my opinion on the subject. And this is my thing, short and sweet, about that, about grown people, because I don't know how old you are, but grown folks, it says a lot about a person when they, as a grown person, I'll use myself, 37 years old, I'm not going to look for a 16-year-old boy versus a man, because I understand that 16-year-old mentality, first of all, his brain hasn't fully developed. He does not understand everything that a grown man would. He hasn't lived life. Most 16-year-olds are still dependent on their parents for survival. They're not mature enough. So what that says to me is, as an adult, okay, the only reason an adult would be looking for a 16-year-old for anything is because they know that they can control a 16-year-old. They can't control a 30-something-year-old man or woman, but they can control a 16-year-old. Mentality-wise and every other which way. There's certain things that an adult, 30-year-old or 40-year-old, is not going to put up with, is not going to tolerate, is not going to take. But when I hear an adult say they're going to go for a 16-year-old, that lets me to believe that, okay, you're trying to be in a controlling situation. You want to control this person. You want to mold this person. That's the only thing that it can be, because otherwise, why not seek your equivalent? Why not seek somebody that has had the same experiences in life that you have? No, you want somebody that has no experience at all so you can control them mentally. That's what that is. BMT, thank you for letting me up here. You know, I told you I got something that I'm doing, but as soon as I'm free, I'll try and jump back on the panel. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, D Darrell, and then I know.
Why do y'all keep bringing up that I was a teacher and I hold these? But do y'all think I'm having these conversations with kids?
Were you a teacher? If
are
you're
y'all
a teacher,
are y'all
you're
mistaken?
a teacher. If you're a teacher, that's a matter of
But
fact.
why do you keep correlating these
you're
conversations and
around
my views
children
with the fact that I work with
that you're
don't
around
y'all
children
drink?
that you can manipulate.
Don't y'all do things that you don't expose children to? Like this is
No,
the most foolish, idiotic
there
point
has
to try
been
to
a
make.
huge increase in teachers, particularly in the state of Texas, having sex with students and manipulating them. Matter of fact, that was a situation just a week ago. A woman and a man, white man, having sexual relations with students at the same school. And that's the kind of
that is
mentality
wrong
some of these people.
because that is an abuse
this is the
of their
mentality.
power and their status,
This is
which
the psychology
is illegal.
of adults who look at children as if they're adults, and it's just not logical and it's not true.
D. Darrell, you know as well as me,
and this is the same issue we ran into when we were talking about.
To use your position.
Wait a minute. When we were talking about the pastor, you were the main one talking about. We were talking about the 60-year-old pastor with the 17, 18-year-old girl.
Wife? What is your fascination? He had an 18-year-old wife.
Hold on, but wait a minute. But what I want you to ask this question.
You won't even tell the truth about it.
With grown men, old men dealing with young girls, or older men with young women. Why are you fascinated with that?
Hold on. How do I have a fascination with it?
Because
when it was a topic that was brought up and I chimed in on the topic.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. How is that my fascination?
Now
when somebody makes a panel about it and I contribute.
You're filibustering because you don't want to answer the question. Why
No,
are
I'm not
you
filibustering.
why
You
are
made
you
a flat out
mentally
lie.
why are you mentally fixated on the issue of young
Why are
women with old
you
men?
mentally fixated with it?
You are
Because you
fixated
chimed in on the panel as well.
every time this topic comes up, you're on a panel
And here
and
you are.
express the same
And you're here
talking
too.
points
So
over
you're
and
mentally
over.
fixated on it because you're
You
here
are
too.
mentally
You see
fixated
how
on
what
it.
you say makes
I
no
can show
sense?
you the receipts. I can show you at least 4 shows that in which we talked about the dynamic of an adult male, particularly if they're way, the age range is significant, to a teenage,
And you're there as well.
let me preface,
So you're
almost
fixated on it
adult
too.
woman that's not an adult yet. You are on that panel and you will express your talking points and your viewpoints towards why that is not immoral. You've done
And
that
you're
multiple
on
times.
it as
Are you
well. So
denying
you're
that?
obsessed with it too.
No, hold on, wait a minute. Are you denying that?
That I've contributed to several panels? No.
Okay, then. So then now you've basically validated what I stated, because you have done this numerous
Not at all.
times.
You're
And
trying
you
to
say the
frame it as
same thing.
something that is
Wait, I'm
incorrect.
just pointing out what you're doing. If you're conscious of what you're doing, because I'm not sure if you are or not, because you've done this, and you have repeated the same rhetoric in regards to, well, the legalities versus the morality. There's nothing wrong with that, and
So
this and that.
because
If the
I've
parents said
been
it's okay.
consistent, because I've been consistent on these issues, now you're trying to say that I'm obsessed or something. See, this is the foolishness.
No. You're consistently. No. It's the difference between being consistent and obsessive. The issue
What's
is
the
that
obsessive
you're
part?
obsessive. You're
What's the
obsessive
obsessive
because
part?
you're obsessive to the fact that you take on certain topics, and you make sure that you take it upon yourself to get on the panel and express the same illogical talking points as it relates to those issues over and over and over.
That's not
You have done that for
if that's
years.
the case, then everybody on YouTube that
And
talks about whatever
wait
they
a
talk
minute.
about
And
is
you
obsessive.
have done that.
Two,
You
it's
have
not
done
nonsensical.
that.
You just disagree with it.
You have done that for
Three,
years.
I
all
disagree
of
too.
these
I
topics.
disagree too, bro. Hey, if I was there, I would disagree too. So let's make that clear. I stand with real on this one. I would disagree too. I would think that it is somewhat strange that a grown man would argue that you said earlier that you're not participating in a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old. But I find it strange that you will argue numerous times on the same topic and you're not participating in it. Is that clear? Is that right?
So, do you also find it strange that I don't have children?
No. That's a yes.
But I find it.
No,
but
I'm not.
I argue.
No, I'm not in a sexual relationship with a minor.
No, I'm saying, do you also find it strange that I don't have children or child support issues?
I want to know.
But I've debated several times for financial abortion.
This is not
by
a debate.
You guys' logic.
It's not a debate.
Just because you're not experiencing something or doing it, you're not allowed to speak on it. You guys have a weird view of things.
This is not a debate. It's not a debate.
No, he's speaking to the fact that I consistently
you have consistently done so. And the bad thing about it, you have.
And everybody on YouTube has consistently spoken on things. That's what happens on these panels. You can go through all the panels. That's not true. Multiple times.
Everybody don't consistently talk about certain things. If you're in a certain space, you talk about different topics. You talk about a full range of things that relate to that sector.
All those panels that I've been on, you've been on those panels as well.
Yeah, hold on, but I'm talking about one specific topic. We're not talking about a range of topics that necessarily
as well
associate with a certain sector.
I think you're obsessed with me, D. Darrell, because every time I come up here, you always find yourself trying to talk to me about something.
Let's
say, Darrell, you're obsessed with me.
So you want me to be obsessed?
You're obsessed
I'm
with
obsessed.
me
I'm,
because every
I'm gonna
time
say
I
I'm,
come up here
obsessed with you when
and I
every
speak with
time I get on
BMT about it,
Teapot,
Guys, we gotta
every
have the
time
come
I
on
go on
here
Teapot,
and you
you have
talk with
something
me.
to say. So you're obsessed with me. Because every time I go over
No,
there,
you're
you're there.
obsessed with me
Or when I
because
was on
every
other
time I
management, when I
come
was
up
in
here,
other manosphere spaces,
no,
when I would speak,
every
you would
time
make
I
sure
come
you
up
would get
here,
up there and speak to me.
you
So you're the one
come up there
obsessed
and
with
speak to
me.
me.
You're
No,
obsessed with me.
absolutely not.
guys.
You are
Absolutely not.
obsessed. You have this
Absolutely
ingrained
not.
this ingrained need, this emotionality to I gotta be
Absolutely
close to
not.
D Darrell.
You're
I have
obsessed
to
with me.
talk. I have
And that's
I
why
have
when
to
I was
go
up here
against his
talking to
talking
BMT
points.
about these
I have
topics,
to invalidate
you
his
always
talking
come up
points.
here
I have to
and try to
argue.
say something about my
So
opinion.
Okay,
I
They
was
can go back
first
and
of
watch
all,
it.
hold
Ji,
on, stop,
You do that.
I
stop.
was asked to come here.
Let's okay, so let's have
I was asked to come here.
BMT asked me to come to panel too, so what are you saying?
Okay, so what is this thing about who being obsessed with who?
so
I'm
listen,
just pointing out the fact that
You're
Ji,
trying to make it sound
look,
like I'm
Ji, look
obsessed
at
with
yourself
something
in the
because I
mirror,
speak on a
brother.
topic.
Brother,
It's
do some self.
consistency.
I want to
let's
challenge
let's
you to do some self-reflection. Why am I constantly talking about a taboo topic of a young girl dating men, mature men? Could you please tell me? Could you please give me a legitimate reason
Yeah,
why
I'll tell
one
you
would
right
want
now.
to argue
Because
that?
when the
That's
topic
not a
comes
woman.
up
That's not
and
we
it's
what?
made a topic, Deidre, you don't want the answer then. Be
No,
quiet
go
so I
ahead.
can
Listen.
answer it.
let
When
him
that topic comes
let's
up
let
and
him
I
answer,
see it come up, I come up to give my opinion on it because that's what these panels are.
Okay,
Somebody
so
creates the topic. I don't create the topic, Deidre. I just give my opinion on it.
okay, so
And you give the same opinion
Hold on.
based on the same stuff.
Let
And then
BMT,
and not only
let
that,
BMT give his thing.
you attempt to intellectualize the reasons why it should happen, and you go about doing research, confirmation bias related research to fit your narrative. Am I lying?
Deidre,
You have
yes,
done
you are
research.
lying.
You have done extensive
Yeah,
research.
when I've had debates,
I have
I've done
seen you
research.
look up. Matter of fact, I remember probably about, I want to say 3 or 4 months ago, we talked about this very same topic, and me and you were arguing, and you were pulling up stuff in regards to various states. Why the state of Virginia? They say it's 14, but the age range, and you were looking for loopholes to legitimize 14-year-olds having sex with adults, if the parents are okay
No.
and things like that. You did that. Or are you denying that?
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, that's
Do
incorrect.
any of y'all know
Now,
Are you telling me you don't do the research on that? Are you telling me that? You never looked up the laws for various
when we
states?
had our debate,
Argued
yeah, I looked it up. Just like how BMT just pulled up the states. Yes, I've done the same thing.
And you have utilized that
debate,
information.
Darrell,
You have utilized that
debate.
information to legitimize the fact that it is okay for 16, 15-year-olds to be with adult males.
Estado, hold on. Estado, I get that you want to come up. Right now, this is a black men's issue that we need to handle. Nothing personal, but this is a black men's issue that we need to handle inside camp. It's nothing personal. I don't know you, but this is something that we need to handle in camp with us as black men. Respectfully, this is something that us as black men that we have to handle. There's nothing against you or anybody who's watching, but this is something that black men we need to discuss seriously. So it's kind of an in-house situation right now. So that's just it what it is. Okay. And that's for anybody who else wants to come up. I rather the black men we have to discuss this because we're trying to figure out where is this going and where is this leading into that of development with our children. What are we now trying to say is that of legal age? I don't play that game. I don't play that game with children. I don't entertain that. I got teenagers that I'm a guardian over, and I have kids. I I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Now, for me, I was looking at Romeo and Juliet. I only that and we have people who are educators on here also, so I'm glad we have a mixed, diverse group of educators and people in the practice of mental health. I'm just that just is. There has to be a moral compass. I don't see what an adult can get out of dating a child. I don't see there's nothing fortuitous about us as an adult dating a child. I know y'all want to say the age of consent, but no, there's no judge that's going to agree with you on that. There's no judge that's going to agree, because ultimately that's why they say justice is blind. But damn it, like that judge is going to be like, you couldn't have been that blind that you didn't know, that you couldn't have asked the question, how old are you? So when we talk about this Romeo and Juliet, if you were to say a 15-year-old dating a 16, 15 dating 17, and I barely like to play that game. I know, people date in high school. You know what I'm saying? I know people date. I know people, do that young teenagers hook up. I draw the line once you start becoming. I know when we was in school, when you were 21, the guidance counselor and the principal on your ass if you were trying to talk to the freshmen. And that was back in the day. Y'all, I'm not sure how many. Some of y'all should be old enough when you could be 21 and still in school. They weren't playing that. They weren't playing that with the 21-year-olds talking to the freshman or the junior. I mean, the freshmen or the sophomores. They would have broke that up immediately. Like, whoa, brother, you need to be getting out of school. You ain't got no time to be dealing with none of these girls. I know. So, J.I., I know he brought up an fair interest, and like I said, this is a conversation. Like I said, this is a kind of a black men's conversation. Let me grab this. So we do have this that came up. Where's it at?
So, hey, BMT, like once you set the stage, I just want to make sure that I state where I stand on this thing.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Why get it all together? I want to know.
Okay.
Do y'all feel that these? I want to ask y'all as men. Do y'all feel these talking points of so long as the age of consent? Do y'all think these are dangerous talking points that can lead into murky waters for men? I don't think men should be entertaining these conversations. That's my opinion. I don't entertain these things, but that leads to sexual trauma, abuse, statutory rape charges, broken home, pregnancy. Last time I checked, if an adult gets a minor pregnant, good luck explaining that to a judge. You're going to jail. I've never seen a man get out of that. I just never seen a man say Romeo and Juliet is going to save me. I just never seen that. California already pushed that with the LGBTQ.
You got the chart up, BNT. If it's legal,
if
it's legal, then he's broken no law, and the laws can't punish him. It's that simple. Now, what they're saying is both of them, they disagree that they think the age of consent should be higher. Whatever that number is, they don't agree with it being 16 or whatever. We already read it. It's set by the state. The state decides it. So they're saying that they believe that it should be higher. That's their opinion. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
With regards to your question, BMT, hold on. With regards to your question, BMT, my take on it is, should we be talking about it? If men are talking about their law-abiding citizens, they're breaking no law, then they're not doing anything illegal. So I have no issue with them operating within the law, being law-abiding citizens. Now, to the extent someone disagrees with the law, you can follow whatever you think is right and try to change the law. I have no problem with that either. Try to change it, do whatever you can, bring awareness to it if that's what you want to do, whatever. But they're operating within the law, I see nothing wrong with it. Same thing with abortions. People are for it, people are against it. You talk about it. Same thing with my financial abortion. People are for it, people are against it. But I'm trying to talk about it. That's just what it is. We just stand on two different sides of this issue. And I think a lot of people are too small-minded and short-sighted to understand that you can have these types
Okay.
of views and it does not affect, or you're not talking to children or underage people about these types of views, because they kept bringing up that I was a teacher, but I hold these views in as if it matters, as if one
J.I.,
has something to do with the other.
Oh
Okay.
man.
But you're not understanding
Oh
is
man.
dangerous. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay.
My fault. I didn't realize that my mic. I'm over here reacting to what he just said, and I'm
Oh,
just
go ahead. And I'll go after you. Go ahead.
okay. Well, I was just gonna clearly state my stance on it, but this is how your views on the subject, and then you're teaching, molding the minds. These young people don't have fixed opinions. They do have opinions, but they are not fixed at 16. And so, because you hold that view, your bias.
I was not talking to them about sex.
Brother, I was speaking and I didn't speak when you were speaking. Okay?
No, sir. Earlier you cut me off several times.
No, what
Let's
I'm
not play
asking,
like that.
what I'm clearly asking you to do is at this time, if you could mute your mic. I didn't speak when you were speaking. And so because I gave you that respect, I expected in return.
So you cut me off several times earlier. We can rewind it back
We're not
right now.
talking about earlier. We're not talking about earlier.
So let's not act like you weren't cutting me off when I was talking earlier, and I do the same, and it's different.
You to do
So
something.
go ahead and get it off.
Man, bro.
Go ahead, brother Rob.
This is my, again, your bias will come out in your teaching. It doesn't matter what subject you teach. I teach history and I teach consumer ed, right? My Black power bias come out in my teaching. You know what I'm saying? That's just clearly what it is. I don't sugarcoat it. So when you have a bias that you think that it's appropriate for an older man to sleep with a younger woman, and then you can intellectualize it. You have clearly internalized this view. Your view hasn't changed from 3 months to now. You don't hear the other side of the argument. You only see your side. So that's why he was saying that earlier. Your view is confirmation bias along with the research that you do on the subject. But this is my stance. All men who agree with you and they see themselves being with any young lady or any young lady that I'm mentoring, that I find out about, they are in mortal danger. Because if I find out about it, let's say that when we see each other, because I'm gonna find you, right? I work in Chicago. Hey, any man that's sleeping with any young lady that goes to Chatham Academy or is a part of my family, you are in mortal danger. It doesn't matter what the law say. You know what I'm saying? I worry about the law after I have given you your consequences for your actions. That's it. That's my stance on it. So, anybody that agrees with you, this is not a debate. I'm telling you what the consequences are going to be. You are in mortal danger when it comes to dealing with Bro Rob on any young lady that I'm mentoring that I find out that you having a relationship with. Straight like that.
Wow. Well, I'm say this in regards to this. I'm speaking of the facts, the situational, observable situations that have occurred, and as it relates to JI on this topic. I'm not. This is not my opinion. This is not me giving opinions. This is a matter of fact and timestamps. This has been going on when we talked about this topic. He has consistently debated, argued, gave his stance time after time, and he has not missed. And he makes sure. Let's make this. Just get this understand. He makes sure he never misses the opportunity to verbalize how he feels about this situation. You know, some people got shit to do in life. You know, you may want to.
What do you mean never missed opportunity? That's
But J.I. is
goddamn
100.
lie.
Is one. Hold on, wait, no, brother, I didn't interrupt you.
That's
You
a
are
goddamn
100
lie.
out of 100 in regards to when it comes up. Because
He's just straight up lying
I
on me,
watch
though.
the space, and I've seen every time this has come up. He's one of the first ones up on the panel. And then this is not a matter of consistency.
You've seen every time this has come up,
This is a
but
matter
you're
of
so
obsessiveness
busy.
and some type of internalized sickness. That the fact that you will sit here and try to legitimize minors having sex with adults, and particularly, and it's like and it don't even matter. Like the last time I remember we argued on the pastor with the 18-year-old, and I talked about the grooming. You disregarded. You disregarded.
You had no proof of it.
Any.
You had no proof or evidence of it. You just
That's what I'm saying. See your response. There's no proof. There's no proof. The proof is in the pudding. You don't just wake up one day
because
and
you didn't
say,
have
I'm
any
gonna
proof.
marry.
Nigga, you get up here and just say
old and I'm gonna
anything,
marry an 18-year-old.
and you think people are just supposed to believe you.
That was a grooming process.
And you just be up here lying. You just be up here lying and saying how you feel.
Process, J.I. You don't just decide to marry an 18-year-old.
No evidence.
And you're pregnant.
You had no evidence
there is evidence
of anything.
She was pregnant. She was. How do you think they
She was
just
pregnant
started
after she was 18. She was pregnant
but
after she was 18, and you don't care about any of the facts.
J.I.
You have no proof of any of that.
J.I.
You have no proof of you just saying it.
She was okay, J.I. Listen, she was pregnant at 18.
Listen, we already debated that. It's no point. No, she was pregnant after 18. She was pregnant after she was 18. She was pregnant after she was 18.
When we talk about this as a man,
I'm not concerned with credibility with what you're talking about. You have no credibility to me. You're just pontificating about nothing.
Brother, are you listening to yourself?
Are you listening to yourself?
The girl got pregnant at 18. She was having.
She got pregnant after she was 18.
Yes, but after she was 18,
after she was married. And after she was married.
She was 18. J.I.
What proof do you have of that?
How is it that you can intellectualize?
What proof do you have of that?
And think logically in regards to?
I asked you a simple question.
I asked you a simple question of these acts, but when it comes to the other nuances, the dynamics of the relationship,
check it out, dog.
You lose your mind, and you can't
check it out, dog.
Listen,
say for instance,
her
young lady,
her father walked her down the aisle to her husband.
Let me give you a
That's not what we're talking about,
Now you talking about
what we have proof of.
Hey, Joe.
Brother,
that's what we have.
That's not what we're talking about.
Her father walked
check
her
this
down
out,
the
Joe.
aisle to her husband. And
that
her
shit you talking weak as hell,
got
bro.
her pregnant.
Hey, for real, I've been trying to be civil with you, bro.
That's what we have proof
that
of.
shit you talking weak as hell.
That's what we have proof
check
of.
it out. If the proof my ass. Hey, if that young lady was in my family, hey, that pastor would have got his ears stomped together.
Her father gave her away to that pastor.
If
so
you was
that y'all
that
are just
pastor,
different people.
hey, if you was that pastor, bro, I personally stomp your motherfucking ears together, bro. That's real, bro.
Her father gave her away to the pastor. Her father walked her to her husband.
And her father, bro, I beat his ass too, bro. Straight up, bro. Hey, y'all weak ass men sitting around here.
What's with all this tough talk?
Hey, let me tell you something, dog. Let me
this
tell
is why
you
we
something,
can't
dog.
have civil conversation.
I don't care how much proof you need. I don't care how you try to have
down on all the tough talk.
You ain't gonna have behind none of that shit if I find out about it personally. I'm telling you, don't come looking for no chicks in Chicago,
DMT,
bro.
we gotta tone it down with all the tough talk.
Together, bro. That's real, bro. I'm telling you, I'm
DMT, we gotta calm it down with all the tough talk.
My face ain't no calming down.
I can't do.
I'm calm.
I can't do the internet tough talk.
Because I can't do
this. I can't do the internet tough talk.
I'm telling you, bro.
I've done this with you.
Nobody knows anybody. I can't do the internet tough talk.
Right, listen, I've done this with you. Me and you have had our little wars and bouts countless times. I've done this. You do the same shit. You come in here.
You do the same thing.
No, I don't do the same stuff because I don't be responding to all that shit you do. I pick and choose when to come up. You're the one that's 100 out of 100. You do
D.
this
Darrell,
same
that's not
thing
even true.
on these
You can
particular
go
topics.
through all of
But
BMT's
when you
videos and see that I wasn't there for months at a time. You're just a
talking,
liar. You just saying whatever you feel like
you
makes you
try,
feel better.
you think by you
Just
being
saying whatever
calm,
you feel like makes
composed,
you feel
you
better.
think
Listen,
by you being calm and composed, that's going to
let's
make you
bring this
look,
back.
and
Let's
that's
bring this back to the point at hand.
and more
If
correct.
a man
No
abides
matter
by
how
the laws of that state
doesn't
and
matter
has
how
broken no
asinine
law,
your talking
then
points.
I don't have an issue with
It
it.
doesn't
D. Darrell,
matter.
let's bring this back. Let's bring this back to the
You're
point.
legitimized, and
D.
then
Darrell, let's bring
somebody
this back to
say
the point. If the
you
man has broken no law in that state, then I
give
don't have a
on
problem with him
behavior
doing it. D.
you would
Darrell,
do. You claim you would not have,
D.
you
Darrell,
would not
bring
be able
it
to
back to the point.
but you're on a panel trying to validate the morality and the
D.
legalities behind
Darrell,
being okay because it's legal.
D. Darrell,
So
let's bring this back to the point. Your personal opinions of me hold no sway with me. D. Darrell, I don't care.
I'm asking
You're
you,
too small-minded and in a box. D. Darrell, I do not care about your personal opinions of me. Let's bring this back to the point.
no,
If
this
a
is not
man has
about me
broken no law, if a man has broken no law,
a matter
listen,
of
if a
fact.
man has broken no law, then what he did is fair game. That's what it is.
So what you're saying is 16 years old, 16-year-olds are fair game.
If a man has broken no law, say what I said, D. Darrell. Say what I said.
You don't
But you're a
realize
liar, so you can't even say it. If a man has broken no law, say it.
you're saying it's fine for
Say
a
it.
16 to 25.
Say it. If a man has broken no law, say it.
Okay, I hear you. I'm sorry, I've got to cut in. I hear what you're saying and I understand what you're saying, but my rebuttal to that would be, have you ever heard of legal but not lawful? Have you ever heard of that statement?
Can I say something before I got
Legal but
before I
not
start
lawful?
moving?
No, what is it?
Listen, hold up. Before I leave,
Okay.
let me state this right now. BMT has never, ever accommodated anybody with any kind of sexual assault. Let's just get that out the way. So y'all can start the name jabbing here on BMT. Y'all people complain about black men don't have the conversations. I'm actually one of the few black content creators, along with D. Darrell, but I'm one of the very few that actually talk about sexual abuse in these spaces. No other black content creator can even contest me on that. So when I do these conversations, I do them so that way people can come here and have the conversation. Okay? So y'all attacking me because I'm having a conversation does not make it any better. That's why y'all having a hard time getting black men to have it. I'm having a conversation. J.I. asked me to drop the link. Did you not, J.I.? Did I not drop the link? I called for Brother D. Darrell.
You did.
If I could have called for
You
Eliza
did.
in Exile, I would have called for them. That's a home that has children. I call for Mahogany. I call for different people to have the conversation what's going on in our community. You can't get mad at BMT. BMT's having a conversation that y'all be asking for. I don't get y'all. Don't attack me. Respectfully, I respect y'all. Respect me. Okay.
I just want to say, I'm not here to bash anybody. I really believe that,
Go
you
ahead.
know what? Not everybody's opinion is going to match. That's okay. You know what? My opinion might vary from yours. That doesn't make yours wrong. That doesn't make mine right. It just makes us different and different minded, and that's okay. With that, I do want to ask a couple of questions. I can get clear understanding. That's okay with you. Okay. The gentleman that's in the middle up there. That's in the middle up top.
J.I.
So, yeah. So one of my questions are, and I believe I already answered, have you heard of legal and not lawful, or lawful and not legal?
No, it's not a term that I can say that I've heard, that I can remember here.
I think her volume is out.
Eliza, you're on mute. Exile,
You're on
tell
mute.
your wife that she's on mute.
Yeah, I just told her she needs to fix her mic.
And BMT, when you've asked me, requested me to come and have hard conversations, have I not shown up to have hard conversations?
Yes.
Yeah, you have. I can agree to that.
Exactly. With these people who sling arrows and stuff at me and try to attack my character because they're not mature enough to have these conversations to actually get to any meaningful
Listen,
level
y'all.
because of the
Listen,
Is she off of mute yet?
We're having a discussion that in many
still on mute.
instances can illustrate one's character, particularly in this event in which you have consistently and repetitively stood on a certain ideology as it relates to male in regards to adult males with minors.
And
you claim you don't practice.
What I'm saying, which is that if a man has kept the law and the law states that what he did is legal or whatever, I don't have a problem with it. I've been consistent with that, D-Darrell. You are correct about that. I have been consistent about that. I'm not on here flip-flopping.
How about this? How about this?
Like
We all know the law is not always morally right.
Sex with adults. That's what you've been consistent.
That's not. See, you're so disingenuous.
No, I'm
you
not.
Can't even say what I said. I said if the law, then you would say what I said, which is if the man has broken no law and he's abided by the laws of that state, I don't have a problem with it. But see, you don't want to say it like that because you are a coward and you are a deceiver. I understand that. That's what you are.
Okay, let me put it another way.
If it was really that bad,
laws ain't always moral, and what's morally right.
If it was really that bad, I know laws aren't always good because family law is something I speak against a lot. I know the laws aren't always moral. Nobody said that. The law is not about morality. I've said that several times. I don't even know why that can't be an argument against me.
So you have a problem with your moral compass according to your own words if you don't have a problem with that law.
The law is about morality because when you go in there, put your hands.
It's supposed to be about morality.
You got to put your
it's
hands.
about legality.
Legality was created to keep morality in check.
There's issues. There's inferences or there's identification of religion in law. So it is.
Religion is not moral.
Religion is not moral.
Religion is not moral.
Morality amongst the people.
Religion is not moral. Religion is not moral.
The law is guided by Judeo-Christian values. What are you talking about?
Which are not moral. Which is not moral.
It is moral because religion is morality.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
That's not morality.
Okay, who are you to say that that's not moral over the Creator?
The Bible is not a book of morality. No, it is
moral.
not. No, it is not.
Law is guided.
The
law in Western civilization is
the law
guided by
promotes slavery.
Values.
The Bible, Judeo-Christian values, they promote slavery. It promotes rape. It promotes all of that in the Bible. It's not a book of morality in my opinion. Now you can believe it's a book of morality.
The Bible does not promote rape.
Okay.
Stop.
All right.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop,
Sir, okay. Okay, sir.
Now you're at a point where you're just pulling stuff out your ass.
D-Darrell, you've not even read the Bible. Okay, let me ask you a question. When the prophet was being made fun of by the children, God sent and he cursed the children, and God sent the bear and it killed over 30 children. Was that a moral thing to do because they were roasting the prophet? Was that moral for God to do?
Talking about
when God sent the bear to kill the children.
What children? Wait a minute. What book is that out of?
So you haven't even read the Bible.
I have read the Bible. I've never heard a story like that.
You haven't even read the Bible.
Wait a minute.
That's how I know you haven't read it.
Quote me the book and the verse.
That's how I know you haven't read it.
You just regurgitate.
Oh no, give me 1 second.
You can't even locate where it's at.
I'm gonna read it for you.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm sorry.
The book and the verse. That's
Hold
it.
on.
Sir, I'm gonna read it for you.
That's okay.
It's your boy Elijah. Here we go. Hold on. Let me.
Sir, I know dang well you can hear me. Okay. Earlier, my phone was acting funny, so I did not get to make my statement. I will go ahead and make it now. Initially, there is a difference between law and legal. Now, here's the problem. There are a lot of things that are legal that are not exactly ethical. This is one of the issues that many people in society have. with a lot of things that are acceptable now. Okay. So whenever you decide to go and do something like this, which is dating or being with another person, while now society has changed the age of consent, mind you, while more questionable behavior has been done, like acceptable child, we'll say just inappropriateness. Okay.
I got the verse for you when she's done too.
Oh, okay. You could have waited for that, but all right. There are a lot of things that honestly are just not ethical. There's a lot of children that are coming up missing. There's a lot of children that are being inappropriately abused and many other things. So with a lot of that being said, I don't know if this mic is cutting up now. Okay. To sit there and ask you, would this really be ethical for you to wait for your state to try to make a legal age 16 to be with a young lady, mind you, while they're not doing the same to young men, or at least not to that effect? Does it not spark any questions in you of why are they doing this to young ladies? Why are they not doing this to men? What's wrong with people waiting an extra 2 years? What's the difference between 2 years if it's really love, if it's really this? I guess my main question is, how is it not striking any more questions surrounding a decision that was made by a group of old white pedophiles? I guess that's my question. Is anyone else saying this?
All right, D. Darrell. 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 23 and 24. And he went up from thence unto Bethel, and as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him, and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. And he turned back and looked on them, and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood, and tear 42 children of them. God sent bears to kill children that roasted his mans. Okay? Is that moral to you, D. Darrell?
What I'm going to say is that
cricket.
I don't know.
These people ain't even read the Bible.
No.
Can I explain? You asked me a question, so please let me. I am familiar.
We'll start with yes or no, and then pontificate.
Okay, I can't even answer the question.
No, you can't. Start with yes or no. Is it moral? Yes or no, and then go into that long-winded diatribe.
In the manner that I see fit. Okay.
Liars. A lot.
Now, what I'm going to say is, in that particular Bible verse, it talks about the fact that these kids were disrespectful and they did something spiteful to this guy. And in the Bible, there are situations in which God punishes people for acts that they've done to other men. So I'm going to say that verse exemplified what it exemplified, and that's the will of God. That's the will of God. That's all I'm going to say in regards to that.
Okay.
I can't judge God.
And there you have it.
I'm not a man. There you have it. God. So, but what I am going to say.
And there you have it.
No. Let me say this. But I can judge your ass. And so what I'm gonna say is that for you, that's the point.
Go ahead.
It relates to you in this whole thing about the fact that you have consistently through years and it's almost like every situation that comes about that hits social media in regards to grown men with young women, or no, not even young women, with young minors, girls. They ain't even women yet. You have a propensity to come up and with your research, your data, what the father said, and all this other different stuff to support that. That's what you have done. This is to me a designation of you and
her
your
father
behavior,
walked her down the aisle to her husband. And you think you know better for her than her father.
And your mindset. This is about you. I'm making this about you. That's what I'm making this about.
I have a question. Hold on, my guy. Hold on, my guy. I got a question about you, Mr. The one that's at the top. Are you a father? Are you a parent?
No,
Okay, so you know what?
it's
If
J.I.
you're not okay, so
I'm saying it's
and
J.I.,
no
not
disrespect,
Mr. One
sir, you already
that's
answered
at the
straight
top.
across. We're not gonna do that because you're not gonna disrespect me. Okay, see, I am a mother.
You're not gonna disrespect. How
Not
about this?
only am I a
You don't
mother,
ask me no
I'm
more
also
questions.
a woman.
You
So
don't. You
guess
don't
what?
ask me
I
no more
believe I'm a
questions.
bit
Then,
more,
since you don't
I'm a
wanna,
bit
since
more
you don't wanna
clarified
address
to sit
me
there and speak
by
this
my name,
versus a
you
man that
don't ask me no
obviously
more questions.
was
Then
sticking with their
you go
dick and
on
sitting
thinking
there
what
and
you think,
co-signing
and
another
don't ask
grown
me no
man
more questions. Then
sticking with their
don't
sex.
ask me no
So
more
I'm
questions.
sorry, are you a pedophile?
Don't ask me not another question.
No,
Then
it's okay. It's okay.
don't
Are you
ask
a
me another
Are you not
pedophile?
question.
aware of the law that they're trying
Don't
to
ask me
pass
no
No,
more questions. Then
babe,
if you don't want to say my name, don't ask me not another
This
goddamn
woman
thing,
of age
because I
is
haven't
just
gotten
about
babe.
to be
disrespectful
a
yet.
You know
But
what?
billionaire.
ask
Stop.
BMT.
Babe, we're not even
I
gonna
don't be
sit there and
going for the
argue with this
foolishness.
man. At the end of the day,
So
if this
since,
man want to be a
so don't
pedophile, he
ask me
gonna
no
do
more
that on his
questions.
own right.
Direct
I'm not
your
gonna sit there and argue
answers
with
to BMT,
anybody. At
or
the
direct
end
your
of the
answers to D
day,
Darrell.
hold on, sir. I'm being
At least D
respectful.
Darrell got
You're
enough
one to
sense to say my
overtalk.
name.
You said
Hold
that
on,
real
wait.
At
Hold
quick.
on,
least D Darrell got
babe.
enough sense to say my name.
One at a
Hold
time.
on,
One
babe.
at a
Don't
Hold
time.
direct
on.
another thing to me then.
My
One
thing
at
is
a
this.
time.
At the
Don't direct
end,
nothing else to me.
One
that's
at a
what I was
time.
sitting there trying to do. I was trying to do one at a time. Your friend was being disrespectful, so I do apologize, BMT.
No,
It's
she was
okay.
being disrespectful. I told her my name when we started,
Listen.
BMT, and we're not gonna act like y'all know. And she keeps saying the one at the top or whatever. She keeps trying to throw little shots.
Hold
Tell her
on.
don't
When
say
did
nothing
you
else
tell
to
me
me.
your name?
Tell her to talk to you or talk to
Hold
D
on,
Darrell.
babe.
When you
Stop.
first got on,
Stop, babe.
rewind it back. Rewind it back. I
When
told
did
you it
you
was
tell me
J.I.
your
when you
name?
first got on, and you
J.I.
heard these people saying my name. But since
Eliza
you want to
meet
be like
J.I.
that, don't say
J.I.
nothing
meet
else to me
Eliza.
then.
Okay, there you go. Eliza meet J.I. J.I. meet Eliza. D. Darrell, Exiled. Now you all know each other's names. Also to the chat, if y'all can't stomach this conversation, I don't know what to tell y'all. You actual black men to have the conversation. I don't say no when women have their conversation. This is us just having our conversation. It's not going to be pretty, but we're having a conversation. Okay? I'm not doing no mosh pit. Y'all do y'all conversation. I'm doing it over here.
Mr.
Now,
J.I., I
go
do
ahead.
apologize for not getting your name. I literally had to undo my phone and redo my phone. So if you did give your name earlier, I didn't. All right. My husband's in the background, so I do apologize for a lot of that excess that just happened. What I'm saying initially, what I was asking is that if you were a parent, and the reason why is because, ironically, the mindset tends to differ whenever you are responsible for another person versus being on the outside looking. Okay. So whenever you're from the outside looking in, especially with a free man mindset, to where these things aren't really affecting you because you don't have a child, you don't have a daughter, so it's just kind of like whatever it is, what it is. I mean, I understand that. But as being a woman and as being a mother, and my daughter just turned 16. Okay, my oldest teenage daughter just turned 16. I'm a bit more passionate because I have grown up with this child. I have seen this child. I understand where she's comfortable at. I understand the way she speaks, which is not always in the way that she's effectively able to communicate her concerns, her opinions, her feelings, or anything else. I also know when my child is feeling trapped. I also know when my child is uncomfortable. These are also other aspects that you're not asking or even considering as an option whenever it comes to something like this. Men are scary. Men are intimidating, first and foremost, for a lot of women because of a heavily different mindset. Okay. And I'm trying to figure out a way I can delicately put that. But, we already see that there's a lot of men versus, women versus men type of conversations, which honestly, I will sit there and tell you should not exist. But unfortunately, it does. So, can you imagine if you had a kid, if you had a little girl, your little princess, okay? Somebody that looks like the most beautiful woman you've ever seen and has the perfect mix of both of you all's instincts. All right, growing up and you're seeing them mold into a beautiful person, but they're not there yet. They're not at the big age of maturity yet. Okay? And not maturity as in what legal standards are maturity, but you can tell that she's not quite mentally able to make her decisions comfortable. Okay, she still needs her daddy. She still needs her mom. Okay, if you can literally try to put yourself in those shoes and then have an older man telling you that they want your child, but they're coming to you as it's not your child, it's just nothing more than a commodity, like a piece of product, like something that they can exchange money for. And once again, it's okay if you still might not understand this now. That's okay. But whenever that happens to a lot of us are responsible for these little girls and these little boys, these princesses, these princes, these kings and queens in training, okay? That affects us differently. Okay, because like I said, my daughter ain't sitting here looking for no man. She ain't looking for no boy. She ain't doing none of that. My daughter literally just got her first job. She's super excited. And she has enough friends that have messed around, fucked around, and got pregnant that she don't even want, she don't even take care of them no more. I mean, so to sit there and say that it's okay, and this is just my opinion now, this is what my personal opinion is, to sit there and say that a grown man can literally try to pursue my daughter at 16 to where she's literally just spreading her wings to be comfortable, in training to be oh no, that's not going down. Now, whatever happened between this other family, sir, that ain't got nothing to do with me. It don't. You know what? I cannot dictate that woman and that man for whatever choice they made. Whatever choice they made is on them. All I can do is speak for mine. And the last thing I'm gonna say is, baby, my little girl, nothing else. She know how to shoot. You can sit there and have the sugar daddy try to come after her if he wants to. That's gonna be his final mistake. And that ain't coming from, and that ain't me doing nothing. I'm just watching.
So let me get at this, and I'm gonna answer this for the person in the chat. Let me make sure I shoot this correct. I want to aim true. Okay. And I thank y'all for everything. Okay, so the guy named Anthony. Let me make sure I use you correctly. So you asked the question, 24K subs, 14 people are watching. That's fair. Understand this. When I was in that manosphere shit, and there was a shit about bashing on people, especially women in community, you motherfuckers were riding hard coming over here. I was doing the 1,000K views and more. A lot of y'all talking points y'all got in this space, you got it from me. A lot of y'all goddamn anthems, you got it from me. The minute I start talking about family and accountability, you bitch ass motherfuckers started running like pussies. So let's get this straight. Let's get this straight. I don't need y'all motherfuckers. I don't need the big views. I don't need the hype. Y'all motherfuckers still talking about game, but y'all ain't got no families yet. Y'all still talking about unequal protection, but you motherfuckers can't even learn how to shoot straight, let alone how to pull out. So all of a sudden, y'all motherfuckers want to talk about being men, but where y'all at for this conversation? But I bet you when I was on one of y'all game doggone channels or y'all game coach channels or you SYSBM channels, y'all motherfuckers had no talk. Y'all lost all that steam about Rico's World. Y'all were clowning on that white dude who gave all them girls AIDS and HIV. Same motherfuckers were doggone talking mad shit about a black boy being gunned down. Well, why did he comply? So why would I want a lot of you bitch ass motherfuckers to come around when literally y'all turn on each other? A lot of y'all get caught up with statutory charges, murder charges, and XYSBN, whatever stupid shit, and y'all live with y'all parents for the most part. Like, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of y'all are goofy as fuck. Now, for some of y'all who do have the courage to come up and actually have the conversation, we'll have the conversation. But I'm gonna be for real. I'm not like you goofy motherfuckers. I don't need you two to be a man. Y'all do. I'm not asking and begging for views, begging for super chat. I didn't moan for your daddy. I didn't give a fuck when your daddy died. Y'all did. Y'all needed a daddy to tell y'all to dress up. Y'all need y'all mommy to hug y'all. I don't need that goofy shit. Y'all the one asking about trying to find a girl that will be compliant. I don't have them problems in my camp. Y'all do. Y'all niggas need to go to third world countries to go find coochie. I don't have to go do that shit. Y'all niggas do. Let's set the standard straight.
Y'all pussy ass men, not me. And if you got the courage, click the link. Don't do that little cheap shit in the chat. I can promise y'all taking many L's lately. A lot of L's lately. Y'all high like a bunch of bitches. You talk about IT, but none of y'all motherfuckers in IT. Y'all working at gas stations and shit, driving Uber and shit, living with your parents and shit. Let's talk about that. Half of y'all been getting caught on sexual charges and shit. So we don't want to go there.
My problem with this whole discussion is motherfuckers is up in an uproar in 2016, 2017 when they was talking about legalizing pedophilia. But they don't even see the motherfucking blueprint to get their fucking selves to that point. And it's lowering the age of consent until it's acceptable by y'all. That's what this shit is about.
Lowering the age of consent.
Look at what the fucking states have done. There's certain states where the age of consent is 14. There's certain states where the age of consent is 18. When I was growing up,
Astro, you're a white dude. Astro.
It was 16. But when I was younger, it was 18. No ifs, ands, or buts. Motherfucker had to be 18 years old before another 18 or above could fuck with them. They're lowering the age of consent, so pedophilia is accepted. And you're falling in that trap by saying, "Oh, well, I don't have a problem with it." You don't have a problem with the slow fucking plan rolling itself out.
That's literally how the government works. If they want to change something, they're not going to change it at one time. They're going to change it slowly and make it acceptable.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Listen, this shit right here. I'm gonna tell you. Listen, we got enough sexual problems and deviancy and issues going on in the community. We got enough issues of exploitation. I had a whole video of a man talking why, if so long as a girl is voluptuous and her body is right and the age is, she's in the right mind at 15, a man should be allowed to date her. That was on a panel last night. Shout out to the Ebony Star Network. I was on a panel, and I was asking, why are men for that? Why are men for that? Now, you're playing a game. I've never seen a judge ever. Never. If y'all show me that case, I'd like to see. Because when them Olympic girls came forward on their coaches, there wasn't no Romeo and Juliet for that shit. I ain't never seen no Romeo and Juliet for that white teacher that had sex with that Mexican boy. And y'all remember that was all over the news. Y'all remember that it was on TV.
Yeah.
They didn't cover her. I've never seen Romeo and Juliet cover not one adult ever. It's never worked. Not in the grand scheme of things.
I don't know about these
Hang on, let me finish let me get out. I listen to all out of y'all. It never works. Romeo and Juliet, literally the story of Romeo and Juliet were young adolescent lovers.
Yep.
So it doesn't work. Romeo and Juliet doesn't work for adults. It doesn't work. You're never going to be able to say, I'm a 27-year-old dating a 17-year-old. No cop is going to say, well, let me let you go about your way. They're going to lock you up. They're going to put you right in the car. They're going to be, okay, so we got another one. They're never going to let you walk away from that. If you literally get caught with pictures of an adolescent on your computer or on your phone, that is viewed as child pornography.
Yep.
That is 5 to 15 years.
And literally, that's just on your computer as an adult. So if it's like that, so if an adolescent were to send you that on your cell phone, you already in hot water. There's nothing you can tell the police why you did what you did. That's why I said, like, the narrative, and listen, y'all, I have these conversations respectfully. With the panel, so that way we can start ironing these things out. I don't agree with every man in person that comes up here, but I do have the conversations. I have been like this for going on 5 to 6 years now, so I've been doing this for a while. I'm not emotionally attached on these things. I am a parent.
I was here when you came to the thing.
Right. So I listen. I've gone everywhere, all over YouTube. I've been doing it for a while. I choose to stay in Black YouTube. I could have been done, moved on to other bigger things. I stayed because we're having these conversations. Now, we are having it where, yes, it is a very biased sword, how they look at it, where young men dealing with older women, that's not treated the same as it would an older man dealing with a younger woman. And I don't agree with that. I still say that's a dangerous practice. I tell people, like, hey, that's still a child. A child is a child. No matter how you try to slice it, that's still a child. So these things that are happening, we got to start calling to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? The law of consent, I don't agree with it. Now, I'm going to pass it on to D. Darrell. I think he's still here.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here, brother.
You know, J.I., do you want to have something to say?
Yeah.
Like,
can you hear me?
Can
you hear me?
I'm going to give it to y'all before you wrap it up.
Yeah, D. Darrell can go first. I'll go after D. Darrell.
Go ahead, D. Darrell. Go ahead.
Okay. So my thing is this, and because this is not gonna be the last time me and J.I. gonna have this conversation. This happens, and it's gonna continue to happen, and I'm gonna continue to have my position on not only this topic but other topics, but particularly in this topic, because this is, to me, shows the immorality of this person, in which he's trying to disguise it under intellectualism. And my issue with this is that, what's the end game? What is your purpose for you parading around YouTube and debating this argument that is not even practical to you in your own life, according to what you say? Because I don't have proof, if we're going to use the term proof, and don't have evidence. So what's the end game? Like what are you gaining for perpetuating, to me, what can be considered PEDO in a sense? What are you gaining from that? How is this making you look in a better light? How is this making you as far as you separating yourself intellectually from others, or putting you in a finer light as far as your presence in this social media platform? Because to me, it's embarrassing that you continue to do this, and there's a zero end game in my estimation. And so that's all I really have to say about it, because the more we have this discussion, it's going to continue to end the same way. So that's how I'm going to that's my last word.
All right. Well, to respond to you, D. Darrell. First off, BMT pulled up the thing earlier with the age of consent laws for each state. The Romeo and Juliet laws are for if somebody is like in high school. So the Romeo and Juliet laws were so that somebody was 16 that had a relationship with a 15-year-old wasn't getting punished. That's what those laws were about. But BMT already pulled up the age of consent for each state. Each state sets what it is. Now let's bring up what I said. I said if a man is abiding by the laws of his state, okay, he's broken no law, I don't have a problem with it. We saw it was 16 to 18 depending on the state. D. Darrell, you are disgustingly disingenuous. Y'all keep throwing around this P word when pedophilia is dealing with prepubescent children. You all are so disingenuous, and it hurts whatever case you have. Because if you were honest enough,
okay, how about child molestation?
Hold on. I didn't cut you off. I didn't interrupt you. Now, like I was saying, you all are so intellectually disingenuous, which hurts your case, because if what I was saying was truly so bad, you would deal with what I was saying. You guys keep trying to add in these other things that were never said, that were never brought up, that don't have anything to like pedophilia, child molestation. Those words do not even fit. And when you're saying those things, that's not even what we're talking about. So it's completely disingenuous on its face. But I understand that you type of people have to lie to make your points. And you're just coming from a place of pure emotionalism. And it's okay that you have your opinion. Everybody has their opinion. But y'all feel the need to lie on me to try to make yourselves look better. And it's ridiculous. Now, you talking about me parading around YouTube. I don't parade around. I go on BMT's panels sometimes, and I discuss the topics that he has. I discuss a variety of different topics. I've been consistent for I don't know how long. I do debates. You talked about how I do research. Yeah, I do debates in the league. I'm a part of the league, and I do debates there. It is what it is on different various topics. It is what it is. Listen, you can disagree with it, whatever, you have the right to. But the people that are trying to demonize me and add extra stuff in or whatever, it's just, y'all are just foolish to me. And this is why it's hard to have intellectual conversations in the Black community, because y'all want to resort to emotionalism, okay, and bringing up things that have nothing to do with each other. And it's really shame on D. Durrell, because I know D. Durrell from an intellectual standpoint is, beyond something. He's doing it on purpose. That's why it's worse when he does it to me, because he's being insidious when he does it. All right, because he knows good and well that what he's doing makes absolutely no sense, and he's trying to stick labels that don't even fit, which is why he can't ever even say the things that I actually say. Which is, if a man is abiding by the law and he's dealing with the age of consent based on that state, he's not broken any law. I don't have a problem with it. He never says that. He jumps to all kind of other things that have nothing to do with it. Because most of y'all are liars and disingenuous. It is what it is.
I gotta answer the question.
Hold on, give me 1 second though.
Let me answer this
that
question real
speech
quick,
would be
Kyle.
fine if this was a fucking conversation about intellect. This is a moral conversation.
Let me answer this question. I got you, Exile. I hope y'all know in other countries you will be arrested for dealing with underage minors, and I've been to other countries. They will arrest your ass with the quickness. Get caught in South America and in Panama with an underage minor. See how quick you end up in one of their nasty jails. They're not playing with y'all. Yeah, this is why sex tourism and trafficking is literally being being cracked down on, even in Afghanistan. So I brought that up to let y'all know, trying to use the talking point that other groups in other countries are doing it is a poor deflection. I brought that up to say that is a poor deflection. They don't right.
I have a question.
Thank you, Platinum Elite. Like, if y'all listen, y'all men try to run that game of saying that y'all can go. Shout out to my brother Platinum Elite. You listed countries. Austria, I will have the conversation with you on another time, and then I'll do the international conversation. But y'all can.
Yeah, we were talking about the states.
Yeah, we're talking about the states right now. We're talking about the states. And I'm telling y'all, Black men, stay away from that. Stay away from them talking points about other countries do it too. That will never work with you in court. That will never apply. You go ahead and say that in front of a mental health person. Actually, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you were to tell that in front of a mental health provider that you're dealing with a minor, do you know they will report you off the rip? If you were to say that to a guidance anybody,
mandatory reporters,
literally by law, if you tell them you're dealing with somebody underage, they will report you. They're not going to tell you. They're just going to report you. So,
D. Durrell has no morality, because when D. Durrell was told about the children being killed by God, by the bears, he had nothing to say about it. So D. Durrell can never be a point of morality.
Something to say.
He has no
verbatim.
I know you didn't condemn it.
I told you that I'm not in a position to judge the will of God, and I cannot judge God.
Which is you not condemning it.
I said, well, God's will is
you
God's
couldn't condemn it because you have no morality. Anybody will tell you kids cracking jokes is not a reason.
No position
with what I was taught
morality
as a Baptist,
and that is why
a member of the Baptist, of the Black Baptist Church.
That is why
I don't judge the will of God.
You have no
anybody with morality.
The will of God.
Anybody with morality
I don't
can
judge
tell you it is wrong for children to be killed by bears for cracking jokes. It is wrong for children to be killed by bears for cracking jokes. That's wrong. and anybody with a moral compass would understand that. But only Christianity would confuse you and make you think that that's okay.
in the Bible.
That's why it's immoral. I know it's not a book of morality, which is my point.
I have a question for you, sir.
Slavery took place in the Bible. That wasn't right either.
Hold on.
We have other people on the panel too. We got Super Mike, and also we got Super Mike. We also got to get up. Go ahead. Say your question real quick.
My question is this: when you say man, because you just clarified we were talking about children, okay? When you say man, what is the age range that you were speaking of when you say man? I just want to know, you're talking about a man or a grown boy, or a boy that is over the age of hold on, because I got somebody calling me. Are you, whenever you sit there and say man, are you talking about a boy that's over the age of 17, that's 18? What do you mean by man? That's my question.
18 and up.
Okay, so my second question then becomes, how are we going to talk about somebody that is 18 and up, but you just got done talking about, the Romeo and Juliet, which you stated yourself was, children, regardless of whether they were 15, 16 to 17. They're still under the age.
It was for children. I didn't say it was children. I said the Romeo and Juliet laws is whatever the age of consent in the state is, it was so that the person that was at an age of consent that was dealing with a person that was below the age of consent wasn't getting in trouble if you had, like in high school, a 16-year-old dating a 15-year-old. That's what it's for. It's to recognize that if y'all are close enough in age and both parties have not reached the age of consent, that's what it's about.
He's talking about the law, not the story of Romeo and Juliet.
I just told you the law. Are you crazy? I just told you the law.
We got to move on to.
No, I was explaining to her that you was talking about the law, not the story.
Okay, so we got to move on to Super Mike. Our phones up. We got to move on to Super Mike, and then we also have Angela up here for the first time. What's going on, Super Mike?
What's going on, guys? Like, the other thing I wanted to touch on with this subject is, we as a community, I think we can't align ourselves morally necessarily with just this country and its moral compass, because they like you said, it's different in every state. These type of laws, like for example in California, they have a SB 145. They'll let people sleep. They'll let 24-year-olds sleep with 14-year-olds. So they do that here, and that's something that Kamala Harris' friend put through with Weiner, whatever his name is, Senator Weiner. So they got all kinds of stuff in different states. They teach all kinds of different practices to children early, and then when we see the results of these type of thoughts from these teachings, we get behaviors, and then we start calling people sick. I think Al Kelly had an incident when he was a kid, right? I think with his sister,
right?
I think his sister was I guess
molesting him and his brother.
I don't know what she was doing, huh?
She molested him and his younger brother,
right? And something probably happened to her too. So all I'm saying is, it's like, the thing is this: if you put out a lot of sick laws and then you start seeing people become sick, it's because of maybe you need to change those laws. And the thing is, as far as just a community, as far as our moral compass, I think it should be based on what's the health of the community. I mean, children, even people that's 15, 16, I don't know if that's a normal practice that is beneficial to the community, to have 62-year-olds messing around with 14-year-olds and 17-year-olds and stuff. I don't know.
So we're now,
what are the 17-year-old boys gonna do? Like, if you got 60-year-old dudes and 50-year-old men trying to find all of those little 16-year-old girls, and then you got porn that's randomly advertised, barely 18. So that's being
barely
pumped out.
legal as they
Yeah,
fucking
barely
handle it.
legal. See what you really want to be illegal. So I'm just saying, like, I know we got the laws and everything, and yeah, that's a baseline, but to me that ain't nothing. That ain't. I mean, I
My
guess it's
thing is,
something
check
because it's
this
a
out.
baseline,
Does this ring
but
true with anybody?
we just gotta understand, and I'm gonna finish this point real quick. But no, we just gotta understand, like, our moral compass has to be, based on a different metric. And when I say moral, you got to believe in something righteous. I don't care what you want to call God, but it's got to be something righteous. Something that you consider righteous, consistent. So that's how I look at it.
Me at 42 years old, if I was to be single right now, I would not mess with any woman that's under the age of 26. Why? Because they still have a little girl mind frame. They haven't grown into womanhood yet.
Okay, that's fair enough. We're joined here by Angela. Angela, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for coming. I listen. I encourage everybody that is in our community right now. Y'all ask for the conversation. I will probably look into another different type of conversation in this same scope, so that will happen on BMT. Y'all ask me out of conversation, so y'all can't complain that we're having a conversation that y'all don't like it. It's uncomfortable. It's supposed to be uncomfortable, but I'm doing it. Go ahead, Angela.
No, I absolutely appreciate it. It gives me it gives me clarity on certain men's perspectives about this whole conversation of consent. And so for me, typing in the chat, I just wanted to be clear about exactly what it is that we're talking about. And like I said, age of consent does not apply to adults. It does not. Anytime that I see a group of men having the conversation of age of consent, my question is, do you really understand the law? Age of consent only applies to minors. That's the only time that it's applicable. If you're an adult, you date adults. If you're a kid, that's where age of consent comes in. Now, there are stipulations, like I mentioned in the chat, Romeo and Juliet. Those are stipulations that apply only when the two individuals, one in certain cases being either over the age of consent, or even in some cases an adult, where the minor and that other individual have some sort of outside relationship, like they went to school together, or maybe they work together. And in a lot of those cases, you can't even apply that depending on the age gap. And that always depends on the state's laws. So in some states, it may be 2 years. Some states, it may be 5 years. But again, those are individual stipulations based on a case. If this age of consent rhetoric that I keep hearing was actually true, we wouldn't have statutory charges. Full stop. Full effing stop. I don't understand. I don't know if when men have this conversation that they actually don't pull up the law about age of consent and statutory, but I suggest again, I'm just one person. I can't tell people, everybody's grown, what to do. But when we're having these conversations, I think that we ought to define what we're talking about first, because it's really disheartening as a woman to hear people, oh, well, whatever the law says is okay. And then when you go into the law, you're not even very clear on what it is that you're speaking on. We have to define these things first. We have issues with child marriages. I don't know if y'all remember it, but just recently, a few months ago, Tennessee had a big uproar about common law marriage. And then the back end of that conversation, if anyone would have actually listened to those Senate hearings, was a discussion about child marriage, where grown people, adults again, were usurping the law and then marrying children. Their parents were signing them off and then marrying these children. And I think in one senator's case, he ended up finding his niece dropped off at a mental institution. So men, like, I just don't know. This shit is scary for me. And I don't know if you guys really hear yourselves when you have this conversation. Like, BNT, I appreciate you having this conversation. I just think that other people on this panel are having this conversation and being really disingenuous.
When I had this conversation, I had this conversation as a
What are
father.
they being disingenuous about?
It's basically
Hold on.
I had this
Who's being
conversation as
disingenuous?
a
One at
father.
a time. One at a
Disingenuous
time.
about?
One at a time. One at a
All
time.
right, go ahead.
Yeah, let me
him
ask
go
her because she addresses who's being disingenuous and what are they being disingenuous about specifically?
you're
We all
being
grown.
disingenuous
So
because
just
you
say
don't
it.
understand the law.
I was talking to the woman. I was talking to the woman, sir. She can answer for herself. She's grown. Go
Brother,
ahead.
I don't know what your name is, but I think in a lot of this, because I just heard you punch
J.I.
down, J.I. I just heard you punch down on a group of other men because you're saying that they didn't understand the law and were having a disingenuous conversation, but then you yourself aren't actually clear on the law. So yes, that's
What is being
disingenuous.
unclear? What is unclear?
I mean,
you don't have to take that tone
She
with
just
it.
stated it. She
No.
said
I
the law
just
does
told
not
you.
Say
apply
what I
to
said.
adults.
No.
It only
Say
applies to
what I
children
said
with
that
other
was unclear.
children.
I just
Say
said,
what I said that was
are you going to
unclear
let
or
me
untrue.
answer the question?
One at a time. One at a time.
Answer it.
So, like I just said, I heard you punch down and tell other men on this panel that they're being disingenuous and not having a faithful conversation with you because they don't want to address the law. And then you went into the law and you yourself weren't clear on it. And this is why I came up here to
What
be
was
very
I unclear
clear.
on?
You were
What was I unclear
you
on?
were unclear on Romeo and Juliet stipulations, and you were also unclear on age of consent because it doesn't apply.
Clarified it.
No, I was not. I told them what you came up here and regurgitated, that Romeo and Juliet laws pertain to someone who is of age or whatever, and whatever that state is, it varies, and there are varying gaps depending on the state for what that state allows, and it's state by state. But it's meant for someone who's at the age of consent, which is what I said, for whatever that state is, and they're dealing with someone who's below the age of consent, which is what I said. I was not unclear about anything, and it varies from state to state.
Come across that way. I didn't hear it. That's why I came up here.
No, rewind it back, and that's exactly what I said.
I
No,
don't
let's
know
forget
why
to
you're
come
so
across. Let's
triggered.
rewind it back and hear
I don't
exactly
know why
what I
you're so
said.
triggered. I'm just being clear. That's
Okay,
what
Oh
I
yeah,
heard. And
let
this
me
is
come
what
up
I'm
here
telling
and
you.
say that you were lying about something, and then let me get triggered when you prove that you weren't lying and what you said was exactly right. But I don't know why
I
you're
was in the
upset.
chat repeating the same thing earlier before you even addressed it. What do you mean? What are you
I
talking
can't even
about?
see the chat, and we already established that
Don't
earlier.
worry about it. He talks in circles like
BMT,
that all
have
the
a good
time.
day. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
There's no talking in
Don't let
circles.
it
I
frustrate
addressed
you.
exactly
He
what she
talks
said,
in
and she was
circles all
wrong.
the time.
Y'all
Anyway, my
accept
thing
there
is,
is no circle.
I
She said I was
don't
wrong,
look
and I
at the
proved I was
law
right.
for the reason
There's
that I
no circles
gave.
there.
I don't look at the law for the reason I gave. They're trying to make pedophilia an actual class of a sex where it's okay to sleep with children. So when it comes to laws like this, I see that they're working at. I see the end of it. I see the goal. So when I speak on this, I don't need to look at the laws. I see where they're headed with it. So I speak as a parent.
I want to sit there and say this. The fact is the fact that we don't even realize that they're making the law and they're not making it to benefit us. They're making it to benefit like them. I mean, a lot of the senators, a lot of a lot of people in power. Okay, and honestly, this can be cross race. A lot of people in power making these laws and these restrictions to better themselves. To save. Hold on, I'm going inside the outside now.
Hey,
your
mic
thing is going in and
giving a
out.
bunch of feedback.
She was also incorrect about this. She was talking about the statutory rape law. It all depends on state to state, and BMT already pulled up the thing. So I don't even understand what y'all are talking about, and y'all are being disingenuous talking about this. It's about being 18 or whatever, because what D. Durrell was referencing was when me and him were going back and forth a while back when the story broke that BMT covered. When a like 60-something-year-old man, he married an 18-year-old, and D. Durrell still had a problem with that. So it's not the issue of
Yes,
being 18.
because
So
that
what is
that was a relationship that preceded the marriage.
No, we're not.
That
It was not.
was the
No,
issue.
no, we have no evidence of that.
Yeah,
We're not gonna
so you think
unhash that. That's not
okay?
the
So
point.
wait
My
a minute.
point is,
This
even when
is
they're
where you
18,
lose.
we're not
This is
gonna
where you
rehash
lose
that,
everybody.
We're
Nobody
not
wakes
gonna
up one
rehash
day
that.
and
My
decides to
point
get
is,
married. That was a relationship that
even when
preceded
they're
the marriage.
18,
Why is that so
you
difficult for you to
are finding
understand?
an
D-Rail,
issue
D-Rail,
with
he
it.
took an L that
D-Rail, we're
day too,
not gonna
bro.
rehash
Don't
that.
even worry about it.
My point is, even when they're 18, y'all are having issues with it. So y'all are disingenuous.
That was a relationship that preceded her being 18. Why is that so difficult
you have
for you to understand?
Proof of that. You have no proof of that. You just
Yes,
spouting
you
it off.
do,
You
because she got pregnant before she was 18.
You have no proof of it.
And she went to the
she did
school
not.
where he was
No,
a
she did not.
principal.
That's a lie.
And he was
That
the
is
pastor
a
of the
lie.
church. So that
She got
was a
pregnant
Yeah, we went
relationship
through how
that
he was stealing
preceded
her out
them
ahead of
getting
time.
married.
She was pregnant after.
Any
She was
normal
pregnant after
situation
they were
in a
married.
marriage,
Nita Rel
there
continues
is
to
a
lie.
dating or a
Nita Rel,
grooming
you
process
continue to
before
We
the
lie.
even
marriage
discussed how
happens.
he lingered
This
around
lady
the
was
family
groomed.
just
That
to be
little girl
around the
was
girl
groomed into
before she
getting
was of
married,
age.
J.I.
Guys,
You
at the
continue
end
to
of the
lie.
day, he
You're just
already
a liar.
knows
She
that
was
he's
pregnant
wrong, and so
after they
he's
were
trying to
married,
cover.
Nita Rel. She
So
was
you know
pregnant
what?
after.
Maybe he said he
After the
doesn't have
marriage.
any children.
After the
Maybe
marriage,
he doesn't
Nita Rel.
know how sex
Acknowledge
works.
that.
That's okay.
Acknowledge that.
Well, one
All these
thing
little
I wanted
insults,
to,
I'm about to get disrespectful. I'm about to get disrespectful because these little smart little
Go
insults.
ahead.
Maybe
You're
I
not
don't
the
know.
only one that can get
dude,
Don't want to go
disrespectful.
down that
Trust me,
road.
I'm a fucking
nobody,
professional
Don't
at
want
it.
to go
you being
down that road.
disrespectful only reflects
You
on
don't want to go down
yourself.
that road with me.
It doesn't
I
really
can go
matter
down
to
that
anybody
road
else
with
if
you.
you
Let's
think
go
you
get
can
the
be
shit
that
talk
way.
king. Let's do
Okay,
it.
let me say
Long as
something though.
DMT permits it, we
Don't
can
want to
do
go
that.
down that road with me.
Let me
Okay.
say something.
Hold on, AI.
We
If
can
you're
do what?
addressing,
Y'all are some idiots.
you can be as
Y'all are
disrespectful
some
as you
idiots.
want to.
I'll have you
Disrespectful
rage
is
quit the hell out
Y'all
this
are some
corner of
idiots.
YouTube.
I have not yet begun cursing, doing all this disrespectful stuff. I've been keeping it cool. Y'all gonna have enough of these
That's a
small
reflection
shots of
on
myself.
He have allowed
Y'all are
you to
idiots.
control
I
the
don't know
flow.
what he
Y'all really
thinking
gonna
like he
stop
helping
fucking
us.
with me
Like,
when y'all are sitting up here.
that's
Y'all are
some funny
idiots.
stuff to me.
Everybody
But
that
anyway,
don't agree with you. So this is not a point for you to be feeling where I was respectful and I was this. You interrupted everybody and you called people names. So stop.
Y'all interrupt me. Everybody's been interrupting me.
You
I've been talking
interrupted
as well.
everybody first.
We can
As soon as
go back
someone says
and we
something
can
you
play
don't
the
agree
tape.
with, you
Absolutely
began to
not.
interact, and then
Absolutely
you
not.
begin to
We
interrupt
can
and
go
call
back
names.
and show how you interrupted me. You
and
interrupted me while I was talking, and I didn't interrupt you in your
more
own
than
little
anybody.
diatribe.
We're not
I
even
didn't
gonna
interrupt you
let me
at
make
all.
this statement
You
on the
spoke
topic.
more than anybody on the show today.
By this conversation. Y'all are
At the
emotionally
end of the
triggered by this
day,
conversation. And that's why y'all can't even hold water or control yourself. Y'all are a bunch of idiots.
J.I., you
And
keep
you're
talking that
projecting.
shit. I could clip what you said earlier, send that to the internet trolls, and you'll have fun on this YouTube platform.
She was married, and you keep on lying and saying that she was pregnant before, which is a lie. Even though we have the article and we have it there, and we already had the debate, and you already admitted to it. You are just a liar, and you will say anything to try to get people to agree with your point. Because it's a poor point.
I will say anything.
You just keep
but
lying.
you want to claim they didn't have a relationship before they got married. You claim they didn't have a relationship.
And you have no proof of it. Right. And
You have no proof
of
either.
You have no proof that they didn't.
You have no proof that any relationship. See, that's when you get off in the playing stupid game. When you can just say somebody said something.
They did have a relationship.
We got proof.
I don't have any proof that you weren't gangbanged right before you stopped on here. I don't have any proof of that. So you ever say, you're out here being gangbanged. I have no proof that it didn't happen. I have no proof that it didn't happen. There's zero proof that it didn't happen, that you weren't getting gangbanged when you hopped on here. There's zero proof.
But you know what?
You're
supposed to be saying
there's
on
zero
topic.
proof.
You're good at debating.
There's
You're
zero
not
proof
debating right
that it didn't happen.
You're being
So I
very
should be able to say because there's zero proof. Because there's zero proof. Y'all are gonna go down this road with me.
If you're good at debating, you shouldn't have a problem staying on topic. You're sounding like you're triggered. You're sounding like you're being very emotional. Can we take
he's very emotional. He gets that way.
Very emotional about what?
What is going on in this conversation?
The fact that your projection does not work. It's okay. This is part of having an adult conversation. You might be new to this. It's all right. At the end of the day,
what are you talking about? I'm agreeing with y'all since
Once
we don't
again,
have proof that it didn't happen. I don't have proof that you weren't a whore and that you whored until you met your husband. He was a simp and decided to marry a whore. I have no proof that that didn't happen. So I guess that's what happened. So
You know,
we're
you
gonna go
have
with
more
it.
proof
I
of
have no
him when he was lingering
proof.
around the. Hold on, you have more proof of him doing that when he was lingering around the family when she was underage
So
than you have
I
proof
have
of the
no
accusation you
proof.
just made
There was
when you never seen my
y'all
old
saying
ladies out
lingering
there
as
hanging
if the
around
family
corners.
was not there.
Babe,
So
don't even
your
bring me
argument
up
Her
in
makes
there.
no
father
fucking
walked her
sense.
down that aisle.
Hold
Her
on, don't even
father
bring me
walked
up
her
in
down
there.
that aisle.
So
And
okay,
with
he's
her, hold
complying
on,
with the
Her
bullshit.
babe, hold on,
father
It
baby.
doesn't make it any less
walked down
bullshit.
that aisle.
Baby, hold on. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Let's
all
go
right,
ahead.
we'll see that family to be on
Let's entertain the rhetoric real quick, okay? Let's entertain AI real quick. Fine. Her father is gonna walk her down the aisle to a brand new relationship that she has no experience in. We don't know
It
how
happened
they're
all
gonna
throughout
play.
history.
Hold on, sir.
It happened all throughout
about
history.
this
That's what
one.
marriage
Can you
was
focus?
before the prior
You
100
have a hard
years.
time focusing, sir?
Let's not get to talk about R. Kelly's drummer and what he had let happen to his daughter.
Babe, once again, I need you to stay on topic. See, this is his little tactic. He wants to hop all over. He needs to stay on topic, and obviously his viewpoints are not strong enough, which is why he's going everywhere else.
I'm
At
sorry,
the
he
end of
triggers
the
me
day,
though. He's always talking like he the pedo
that's
defense
okay.
force or some shit.
Baby, that's okay. That's okay. The whole thing is this. If we're going to sit there and entertain AI, then let's go ahead and entertain AI. Why would a father walk his daughter down the aisle and she's
Are you
never
calling me
had?
AI?
I'm
Are you
sorry.
referring to me as AI?
Is it?
You see,
Well,
you
okay.
see more
BMT,
disrespect.
I do not
See,
see the name.
and see they do these little shots. See, they do these little shots, and then when you respond to it, they try to make it sound like you're
I'm
crazy.
an internet
And
troll.
I didn't
You
jump
goddamn
around.
right.
I told
I'm throwing
you
my shots.
she can walk get walked down the aisle with no relationship. Yes, because that's what happened for thousands of years. Because that's how marriage works.
I'm not talking about thousands of years, sir. I'm not talking about thousands of years. I'm talking about right now. I'm not talking about thousands of years.
I said yes.
I'm talking about right now.
That's what happened. I said yes. That's what happened.
Okay, so here's the thing. That's what you think is happening. Well, you know what? No. I'm not even gonna say that. Fine. If you believe that's what happened, that's absolutely fine.
That's what we have evidence of that happened.
Sir, do you know the family?
That's what you want to have evidence
Hold on. Do you know the family personally? Do you know them personally? Have you talked to them?
Do you?
Oh no, but see, I'm smart enough to understand as a woman how that works.
I read the story. I read the story and the article just like everybody else, and then I debated D. Durrell about it. So there's your answer.
Not everybody. Some people know them.
Right, exactly. And guess what? The same people that know them were the ones that were putting the story out.
Y'all know
Matter of fact, I believe the day that we were actually on a panel with BMT, they actually had another young lady who was a member of the family who did know them and was talking about how they were having a relationship prior. But it's okay, because you know what? Because you read an article that, it didn't happen. You know what? That's absolutely fine. If you want to sit there and say it didn't happen, fine. No pics, it didn't happen for you. At the end of the day, we actually spoke to somebody who was there. Okay? They were on BMT's panel. It was a beautiful woman.
Who spoke to somebody that was there?
BMT, did you not have that beautiful lady?
No. I believe that happened at K-Dot's, baby.
No, it did not.
Okay, guys. Now listen, I'm going to have to break this into a part 2 later. Right now, I'm out and about, and it seems like this conversation has to be monitored or moderated. If y'all, I'm gonna email everyone about this conversation. I know D. Durrell, I'll email him and call him. Eliza and Exiled.
I don't know if I want to come back for part 2 of the pedo defense force, bro.
Huh?
You can call me.
That's not even what it is.
It's some
That's
points
not even what it is.
important in here.
Okay, well, I
we
won't
can't
bother.
heal unless we go into this
I'll
subject.
tell you what. Okay, for those of y'all that don't want to be bothered with it, I tell you right now, you don't have to be bothered. You don't have to come up. That's fine. I'm not begging nobody. That's fine. Only thing I'm saying is I'm going to ask these conversations because people say black men don't talk about this. I will go down that road to talk about this for Black men, because this is something that seems like it's just avoided conversation. So I'm going to do that. I'm not holding no other content creator to do that, but I know what I'm going to do until I get it squared away. Until, like I said, we got a lot of stuff that we got to hammer out.
Yeah,
like
message me on this one. Let's be honest.
Mike, I got you, Mike. Like I said, there's a lot of in-house things that I'm going to have to do, and I'm going to be, like I said, I got a lot of people messaging me right now that they want in on this kind of conversation. So I'm going to have to definitely hit at this one. It's not an easy conversation. It's not, but guess what? I'm gonna go down that road, and I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna see you guys later. Much love to y'all.
All right, peace out.
I'll see y'all guys later. Peace. Y'all have a good day.
All right, peace.